Now, as with barbells, dumbbells you can use standing or seated. I'll demonstrate some seated curls. I have a pair of dumbbells here. I'm not going to get into advanced variations, just the standard basic stuff. Now I could do curls in parallel, in other words left and right arms at the same time. No problem. Or I could do alternate curls. Raising one arm as the other one lowers. This provides a slight change of focus. But otherwise, as you can see, essentially there's not a lot of difference between alternates and doing them at the same time, other than that you can work on trying to avoid swinging around too much, work on some isolations, work on some stability and instability issues and things by exploring some of these motions. Now, so much for using two dumbbells at a time. We'll now just look at use of a single dumbbell at a time. Again, there are many ways of doing this, but perhaps the most popular one, just using a dumbbell, seated, no other special equipment, no preacher benches and all that sort of stuff, is simply to do a concentration curl. Now, the essential nature of a concentration curl, not quite sure where the origin of the term comes from, I think it may be from Rodin's The Thinker. But anyway, the basic motion of a concentration curl is that you grasp the dumbbell in one hand. You typically brace the arm against the inside of your leg, your thigh, preferably not too close to the groin, it makes it a little bit easier, a little bit further away, and then you curl. Obviously I haven't got a very heavy weight on here, just demonstrating. Now the reason you brace the arm here is to isolate the biceps. If I don't have it braced, then I could, for example, bend the arm back quite a lot, change the nature of the exercise. By putting it against the leg, I stop that happening and make sure that the work is being done with the biceps. It doesn't mean that it's impossible to cheat doing this, because of course you can bring in some gross shoulder motions, but you should at least be aware that you're doing that. Most of the time, if you're firmly on the ground, braced in here, the chances of accidentally cheating very much are extremely limited. Personally, if I do concentration curls, I tend to do a set like this, immediately switch to the other arm, immediately switch back again, so I can train this exercise very quickly. I don't usually bother to take a rest between sets. I simply switch from one arm to the other and I get a slight break on one arm while the other one's working. You don't have to do it that way, but it's a good use of time. That's probably about it for concentration curls. We'll do hammer curls next.